My name is Eric Scott Kimmerer. I do the voice of
Goather, the goat sin of lust in Seven Deadly Sins. Sparkle.
And I'm Ben Diskin. I'm the voice of Bond in Seven Deadly Sins, and I don't sparkle at all whatsoever.
No, you just punch
Captain in the face a lot.
Right. Yeah, well, he had it coming.
So the Bond-Elaine relationship backstory and the Goather-Nadja relationship backstory, they're both like really emotional, at least for me. So can you guys talk about the preparation for like the scenes and what it was like recording those?
Yeah.
Yeah, you want to go for it?
Well, I was really blindsided by that because I hadn't read any of the manga going into that, and for the first 2 seasons, Goather is very much an enigma. He's at the end of the first season and goes around revealing dirty laundry, which was really fun. And then I remember, it wasn't here, but it was a convention after the first season. Deanna and King cosplayer come up to me and go, "Oh, you're the voice of Goather." I'm like, "Yeah." They're like, "You're an a-hole for what you do." I'm, again, not reading the manga. I'm like, "What did I do?" And then second season comes along. I'm like, "Okay, that's deserved. Yeah, Goather is a bit of a heel." So I had no idea going into the whole Nadja thing, like what his true essence was, and got real blindsided. We did that, I think, so we were recording that remotely, that particular scene, and I was elated because finally we get to see the truth behind Goather's heart. He's not just a tin man. And sure enough, I'm glad people really resonated with that and got off my back for the whole Deanne King thing.
For me, the whole Bond and Elaine thing was a giant question mark for me as we were working on it, because so much of it was she sacrificed her life, and it's just him living with like the regret of the decisions that he's made. And so then when she starts coming back to life, spoiler alerts, I guess, everybody kind of comes back to life. It's fantasy. Their relationship, I was like, I don't understand how they work. I don't get it. She seems like she wants to murder him constantly. I'm like, oh, it's because of the spell that's possessing her. And then finally, things work out, and I just appreciate that, like, in this world of like swords and sorcery with everybody, you know, fighting each other and killing each other, they have like this actually good relationship. And like they just kind of like wind up getting married and having a kid, and it's like the most normal like thing in the entire manga, which I think is like, oh, how nice, huh? Something just worked out without any like further strife, and and they get along well. So like for me, recording it was just sort of a, I don't get what does she see in him? What does he see in her? Oh no, they're just good people and they get along with each other, and it's like kind of like refreshing and reassuring. So yeah, that was kind of the whole beginning to end journey with their relationship, and I'm glad it worked out for them.
I believe they do have a spin-off manga of those two.
Just those two?
Yeah, like a one shot or
Oh
something.
really?
Yeah, I think they have like
cool.
Yeah. I have to look that up.
Yeah, I'd like to see that.
Yeah.
Like when you were recording in Seven Deadly Sins, was there like a scene where you kind of just read the script and you were just kind of like, wait, what do I have to say? Like you were kind of like questioning like, what? or were you just kind of like, okay, whatever, it's work, I'm getting paid for it.
Do you want the real answer or no? I mean, well, first of all, we don't actually get to see the scripts ahead of time.
Mm-mm.
So we are living in the moment for each one, and you know, our director will tell us, here's what's happening in this scene, here's what happened before. So we just kind of get hit with it right away. But like, yeah, for the most part, I don't know about for Eric, but for me, it's fairly standard fantasy stuff. So like nothing really terrible. The one thing, and I feel like it's a translation thing, I really wish I didn't have an attack name that's just the word snatch, because that means more than just grabbing something. And yeah, so I'm just sort of like, it would be nice to not yell that word out as an attack.
No, I'm glad.
Yeah,
no,
so
own it.
Oh my God.
But that's about as weird as it ever got for me.
Okay.
I forgot the question. Actually, I did.
Oh, any lines that made you go, what?
Not any lines, but just moments. Again, when I did learn why those cosplayers were mad at me, I was like, yeah, they probably should have actually punched me for what I did in this. But I think it was during the OVAs in between the first and second season, and I described this earlier, where Goather is walking down the street and this little kid comes up to him and he's bothering Goather. He's like, come on, play with me. Goather's just like, I'm on an important mission. I'm one of the 7 deadly sins. He's like, okay, yeah, let's play 7 deadly sins. And like not getting that this is actually a sin. And then Kid's just like, oh no, I used to play with my mother who died a long time ago. And Goather just like goes into his memory, gets the image of his mother and like transforms into his dead mother in front of him. And I'm just sitting here like looking at Case and like, what are we doing? What is he, again, is he a good guy or a bad guy? I can't tell. And then it gets confused later when we learn that he's not only a 7 deadly sin, he's one of the 10 Commandments, the 10 Commandments?
I think so.
Yeah, so...
Boy.
It was just all that going on of just surprise with him every step of the way. So like from the earlier question, I wouldn't change any character. I would stick with Goather because I've loved this journey front to back.
Heck yeah.
Okay.
And my biggest question seems a little strange to most, but I have a question about the change of like outfits and appearance of the characters throughout the show and how you felt about it, because you kind of had to change a little bit with Goather, kind of had to, with the barmaid outfit, and then you also had to change with when Bond did not wear the outfit that was picked out by King and Deanne, So how did you guys feel about that? How did you kind of adapt to that?
I like his second outfit because it just acknowledges the fact that he's constantly being run through with various weapons, that he just winds up having like a hole here and then a hole in the back so that he doesn't have to keep changing clothes. But I think from season 1, my favorite thing is every single time he gets destroyed, he's like, oh man, and then he sees some random person wearing the exact same like red leather spiked shirt jacket thing, and he's just like, hang on a minute, I'll be right back. And then he comes back wearing somebody else's clothes. No explanation. Did he buy it from him? Did he kick his butt and take it? But the fact that there's just some random person out there with the exact same specific outfit as him.
Always at the exact same time he needs it.
In the same size, the same everything. He's just like, yeah, there we go. All right, great.
No, I love all of Goather's outfits. Goather, for not having really an awareness of humanity, definitely knows how to get that drip going. He's got that drip that sinks Titanical cruise ships. Like, he knows how to accessorize. So I loved the whole barmaid scene, especially when he comes out and it's just the 4th poster girl of the boar hat. Goather is here. Just he has no gender construct or anything like that, and that's lovely with him. I love him.
A construct, really.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah. He's a.
He can be anything he wants.
Yeah. Would he be? Technically, he's a homunculus or a doll or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know what qualifies Goather.
I think they say doll.
Doll mostly.
Okay,
Yeah. But also like an avatar for the real Goather, and it's all very confusing.
He uses neo-pronouns, so it's a whole thing.
Yeah. But no, I love anytime Goather changes up the outfit. The barmaid was probably one of my favorites, but the later ones really seemed functional and fabulous at the same time. So.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
What would be your most challenging part of recording 7 Deadly Sins?
Trying to remember what my freaking sacred treasure is, because we had a couple of different translations for it. It was in Japanese, I think it's Twinbo Herito or Harito. I can't remember exactly which katakana they use. So that could be translated, when we Romanize it to many different ways, like either harlot or harrot or...
Harlot would be interesting.
Harlot, I think we used harlot once, and I think it was interchangeable because we did do it for different studios. We did one of the movies with SDI, and a lot of the rest of it with Bang Zoom, but I think it was kind of interchangeable, and I couldn't remember the last, because it was years in between. I was like, what was the last one we used? I can't
Oh my gosh, wow.
So I was trying to remember what my sacred treasure actually is, and still to this day, I don't know. I just signed it Sacred Treasure, Twin Bow, Harrot with 2 R's and 2 T's. That's gonna cover all the bases.
Smart. Let's see, for me, oh gosh, the question was something that was challenging? Yes. It's probably just all the yelling. Because my character I think is mostly kind of right here, doesn't do a lot. But then when we go into the fight scenes, it's just nothing but like yell, punch, scream. So vocally, just a stressful part for just doing all that stuff. But that's kind of standard fare for anime. Most of Bond stuff is fairly light, and it isn't like something that just kills me. So usually, it's just mostly just talking and being kind of like down here and relaxed.
Honestly, I think that was probably, in my true answer, that was my biggest challenge, was the lightness of Goather being really light. And there's a balance you have to find with that, because he doesn't, quote unquote, have a heart, but you learn later that's, there's a lot of complications to that. So you never really want a character to be fully emotionless, but he kind of calls for it sometimes, and it's pulling it back and finding that balance in the early Goathers before he discovers himself and can emote a little bit more. When, like, I want to react to something, especially myself, but I have to, like...
You have to be like, no.
Rein it in.
Less is more.
Less is more, yes. That was probably the biggest challenge, is finding that balance, specifically, without it going too emotionless and just being not interesting at all.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
What do you think about the friendship between like Bond and Meliodas?
I love it. I love the combination of like the small person who's like really, really powerful, and then like the big person who's not as powerful, like the kind of Nappa Vegeta from Dragon Ball kind of thing. And so like I just love the fact that it's like this little tiny pint-sized kid and like this like big dude like adult, and they're just like, but like they're both completely immature, despite like the fact that like it looks like a guy with like his little brother, and like so the ages are all mixed up, and the fact that they have this it's not even really a rivalry, it's just they just enjoy beating each other up and getting beaten up by the other one because they're both basically indestructible. So I love that kind of like it's not a sidekick relationship, it's just like two bros hanging out and doing dumb stuff together. It's Jack, but as like anime.
Who's Steve-O, who's Johnny?
Oh, I couldn't know. No.
I think Bond might be a more Steve-O.
Maybe, yeah. Well, he probably doesn't enjoy getting hurt. So
Yes.
Then he would be the Steve-O of the two. Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
What's your favorite fight scene from the show or the movies or in Four Nights of the Apocalypse as well, from either you yourself or any other fight?
So for me, it's not technically a fight scene, but it is. It is Bond and Meliodas getting into an argument over whose girlfriend is hotter.
Oh yeah, I remember
And
that.
as they're like getting mad at each other, they keep accidentally killing all of the minor bad guys around them. And by the time they're done with their argument, they just look around like, were there a bunch of guys here? So like that's probably my favorite one, because it's just like that's the OP characters in the show just beating the living hell out of everything.
I'm trying to remember the exact scene. It was near the end of the first season where we were in the streets. There was this miasma going around, and I get stabbed. Goather gets stabbed through the chest, but at the same time, jacks into the mind of the person stabbing him. And this is when you get to see like cold-blooded Goather. This is when you get to see like Kendrick Lamar dropping on Drake Goather here. Like he was cold as ice. And I think that was one of my favorite moments, is to get to see his like prowess with his mind abilities, because we only seen it in a goofy sense when he's going around airing people's dirty laundry. But this was when he's like, no, I can rewrite your history. I can remove you.
Dang.
It was really cool.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
Is there a scene that sticks out to you as a scene that gave you goosebumps?
I think it would probably be near the near the end of the first season. Is the final fight between Meliodas and
Yes.
Killsunder? No.
That's KG's guy, right?
KG's guy, yeah.
Duh.
Crap. I'm bad with names. I haven't watched the show in years,
That's
but
okay.
I remember this fight, and I remember just like the buildup of Meliodas's reverse power. It was this very clever use of it that was just like, ooh, this is some like high IQ fight battle going on, or battle IQ going on. So ADHD. Sorry, my brain's. I'm also hopped up on a new version of Red Bull.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Monk fruit.
Monk fruit. So yeah, it was probably around there that I was like, ooh, I like the battle IQ in this. I like the battle psychology throughout this.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. Gosh, a scene that gave me goosebumps is probably when Elaine comes back, because Bond has been just sort of like living through his life assuming that she's dead and never going to come back, and when he realizes like, oh, I could actually have this person back, and it's like that kind of the metaphorical hole in his heart, and I'm sure physical ones because he's always getting hurt, like actually gets filled, and you're like, oh, this is like that thing he's been missing.
Yeah.
So it's sort of like that to me is kind of important as a character, for him to like have like this positive thing in his life that he's been like without for like centuries, basically. Yeah.
Awesome.
What's it like to voice an apathetic character?
Well, like I was mentioning earlier, it's hard to like find that to be purely apathetic, because there's so much going on around him, and you want him to react, but you have to remember he's not so much apathetic. He's just neutral. He is just true neutral. He learns he knows only about communication through books. So everything is very stilted. But he obviously has a motivation. He obviously has something he wants through it all. So he's not purely apathetic, but I guess the best word is just naive, just very naive. And I had a lot of fun with that, because it was finding that discovery. It was kind of playing all that discovery and not. It was a little bit more hopeful that way. I didn't go into that apathy like, oh man, he's so. It was more like, okay, what's he learning today? What is he?
Yeah.
What is Babby? What is his lesson today? What is Sesame Street or Sesame Sins telling him?
Sesame Sins. Oh my God. Just a bunch of Muppets. So for me, I played a character in a different show called Sai from Naruto, and it's a similar thing with like what he went through with Goather. But for my guy, he is a human being. He just has all of his emotions suppressed, and so the entire process is. He's trying to form relationships and bonds with people, but he has absolutely no idea how to do it. The problem is that later it's revealed he has a curse mark on the back of his tongue. That's what's suppressing his emotions. The guy who made the curse mark dies. He suddenly has emotions, and now I, as an actor, have no idea what to do with the character. Because originally it was just, hello, yes, fine. Now it's like, hey!
Limiter's off.
What's good, y'all? What's cracking? Now I feel stuff? So like, as an actor, I'm just like, okay, he's here now, and he didn't die in the Great Ninja War. I don't know what we do with him now, but I guess he has a kid. So it's
always fun when those characters like get the backstory much later on, and you
and you go, oh,
I wish I knew this.
I would have done different stuff.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Who did you guys originally audition for? And if you could have voiced anybody else, who would it be?
So, funny story about that. Leading into Seven Deadly Sins, I had voiced for a Japanese voice actor his characters about 4 or 5 times, Yuki Kaji. And I had done Excel World as his character, Magi as his character, Blood Lad as his character, One Punch Man as his character. So when I auditioned for Seven Deadly Sins, the casting director, Mami Okada, not M-O-M-M-Y. We always have to
clarify that.
Oh my God. Internet, damn it.
He has strong mommy energy.
Yeah, she does.
N-A-M-I.
She does, yeah. So she knows the joke that I get a lot of Yuki Kaji, so she sent it to me. And that would be Meliodas, actually. So I originally auditioned for Meliodas and then later for King, and then they basically were just like, you're dry and sarcastic, you're just Goather. I didn't even audition for Goather. They're just like, you're Goather now. Like,
that's awesome.
But yeah, so I originally auditioned for Meliodas, and I'm glad Bryce got it, honestly.
I think I tried out for Bond and King, I believe, were the 2 that I tried out for. Yeah. And like, if I had to pick it all over again, I'd still pick Bond.
Yeah.
I love King, but I also love how punchable he is. And Max brings like just this je ne sais quoi of punchability. You know what I mean? Like, and that's not a diss on Max. He just does a great job of making you go, I like the character, but I also just want to.
I can't disagree with that
right?
statement.
You know, yeah. So it brings it, which helps because I think Bond is not the biggest fan of King anyway. So it kind of helps with their kind of like almost brother-in-law kind of quality. Yeah.
And like I said earlier, King's not the biggest fan of Goather, so
Sure.
Everyone against King.
My question for you is, do you have any funny stories from like the recording booth or from any recorded lines?
Specific to Seven Deadly Sins or like outside?
Seven Deadly Sins or in general, like Seven Deadly Sins in particular, but like any other works as well.
I mean, for me, I don't know if it's funny or not, but it was trying to sing a song as Bond. It's like this whole thing, and it is oof. Like it did not turn out well at all. But for me, okay, and I think it's like the last season, Bond goes to purgatory, and because he's Bond, he's invincible, so he's just constantly getting injured, and it's purgatory, so he's just there forever. And so it's like it cuts to him. It starts off with him like falling off a cliff and going like oh God, and then landing and going oh. And then later it cuts to him like 100 years with like a beard falling off a cliff going ow, 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 ow. And so like that's my favorite thing of just getting to like watch the character not change no matter what.
Yeah. And I think my favorite moments, nothing really stands out as like a funny moment in the booth. It was just I love Goather's dry humor. Dry humor
is it humor though? Because he just doesn't know what he's talking about.
No, yeah, exactly. I love his obliviousness.
It's like an AI chatbot. Like, is it really? Like, is it trying to be funny? I don't know.
I remember the first time like all our characters meet, he gets blasted with dust, and they're all like, "Goather, what do we do?" And he just walks away, just like, "My glasses are dirty. You guys handle this." Not giving up. But yeah, so I had a lot of fun with those moments, and especially with Chris Kaysen directing a lot of the early scenes, or a lot of the early seasons, just having a blast discovering Goather. Like, okay, is he a good guy? Is he a bad guy? No, he just turned into this child's dead mother in front of him and probably traumatized him again. So,
and then made a little note of that, like, that traumatizes people.
Do not do. So it was just a lot of fun with him in general. Just any of those scenes where he can be oblivious, can be naive, or just straight up, even sometimes sarcastic. Like there will be some moments where he will clap back and surprise the others for it.
So you had mentioned Destiny, and it reminded me of the story that Lenny James has said. He voiced Lord Shax, and he's like, he was at a friend's house for dinner, and he suddenly hears himself shouting from the other room, and he's like, oh my gosh. So do you have any stories like that where you've encountered your voice work like out, like where you weren't expecting it, like you're somewhere else and suddenly you're going like, oh my gosh, that's me going from the other room or anything like that?
So technically, it's not really that, but like I went to like Jersey Mike's like one night, and there was like this anime song that was playing over their system. I was like, what is that? I know I've heard that. And it was the theme from Seven Deadly Sins. And I was just like, do they know? No, they don't know anything. So like that's the closest it's ever been for me. But no, I don't usually hear my voice blasting out of somebody else's speakers too often.
No. Yeah, I can't say that I have. I mean, usually at conventions, I'll be walking by like the room where they're screening anime, and sometimes I'll hear myself. I'm just like, oh, gotta go. No, like, I don't. I want to re-record that line. Please don't remind me of that one. But no, not too often do I hear myself when I'm out. I think the only time was I think I was in Palm Springs. Where was I? It was a haircut shop, yeah, and they had Demon Slayer playing on. It was the Mugen Train arc, I believe. So it wasn't my Obanai character, but it was. Little known fact, I did a bunch of incidentals in that Mugen Train arc because Obanai had one line, and I was the boy in yellow who invades Zenitsu's dream. So, like, I remember seeing that, and thankfully it was muted because there was a scream in there. I was like, I really don't want them to hear that coming.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Guys, do you have a dream role?
Okay. Yes. I mean, well, okay, it's a dream project. But so like I don't want to say like I want this role because it's technically somebody else's role right now. There is a video game series that came out a while ago, back in like the PS1, PS2 era, called The Legacy of Kain.
Yes.
And so they remastered.
I just picked up them remasters.
They remastered the first two Soul Reaver games. And I'm playing through them right now, and it's one of those things where like you can tell the limitations of the technology back then really affected how the games played. They're dated, but the story is really interesting. There's a ton of lore, and the characters, the acting is like it's that great like theater style acting where it's this like it's not bad. It's like broad and very intense, and I love the characters and the way they interact with each other. It's really, really cool. So I would want a modern day reboot of the Soul Reaver series of Legacy of Kain so that we could get like, basically they could do what they always wanted to do back in those days, but with like better tech and like motion capture and the whole thing, and it would be
Hopefully
awesome.
this sparks some interest.
I hope it does.
I would love a sequel again. I would
Yes.
love them to
That'd be
continue
really
the
cool.
story.
Yeah.
So for me, it's actually a number of characters. Like I'd love to voice Peter Parker at any point. I would love to voice Link at some point from Legend of Zelda, but the 80s pretty much made sure he's never getting another voice again.
Yeah, well, there's going to be a live action show, I think, or movie. Or
Yeah,
something. So,
yeah,
like,
we'll see.
Watch, is he going to be mute in that? Or he's just going to be like,
Aside from that, I would love to do things like a Bela Lugosi type voice. I think my number one dream project right now, though, because I'm getting more into mocap, and a little known fact about me is I also train in pro wrestling. I train with a former WWE person, and I would love to do the mocap for a WWE game. I would love to, do like all the characters' entrances and their move sets and everything.
That'd be cool.
Give a Stone Cold Stunner to somebody, and because I've been in the ring, I've been through tables, I've wrestled matches. I even wrestled a match as Obanai at Anime Las Vegas. Well, Eric didn't step in the ring. Obanai stepped into the Royal Rumble.
Cool.
So I'm hoping to kind of cross over the worlds a little bit more. Of
heck
that.
yeah. Awesome.
Yeah, super cool. Thank you.
We are done. Thank you so much for coming to our panel.
Thank you.
Yay.
You can catch us down at near the Artist Alley. We've got our booth set up there. We'll be signing throughout the day. And do you have any other panels this weekend?
One more, and I don't remember what it is.
Yeah, I know mine is on Sunday, and it is called Men in Anime, or Men Voicing in Anime, or something.
Not in that one.
Yeah,
So-
I have no idea what to expect from that one, but
All right.
other people are going to have to bring the testosterone. I'm not the
Bring
one
your
to...
masculinity to the world. You
no,
can do it.
I'm going to have to rely on the others.
Okay.
I come at it with a testosterone deficit when I'm on
Just get a fake beard and put it on top of your regular beard so that it just like extends it.